So software teams are typically more of a pure Agile adaptation, and they're used as an early strike force for the organization. Then you have the firmware teams. The firmware teams are developing software that is closely tied to the hardware. At the same time, the software teams use typically both software and hardware to test against at some point and develop against. And so the firmware teams, even though they're developing code, they don't move as fast as the top level software teams. In other words, they typically will have 30-day sprints. They won't have stand-ups every single day, maybe once a week. And so that's a different adaptation to how they're doing things. And then you have the hardware teams who move. They may have more of a waterfall type of approach. They may still have, an 18-month or 12-month development cycle, but they acquire certain capabilities that allows them to keep up with the other teams. So our research shows that they will try. One of the methods that worked very well was to develop rapid prototype development, that they could throw a prototype together to give to the firmware and software teams that they could use to develop and test against, because there's so many interdependencies between these teams, and managing that is very challenging. And also, they developed a process for low budget projects. So for example, if we did have a client who needed a hardware solution and they needed it right away, and it couldn't be solved with a software solution or a firmware solution, we would create a low-cost hardware project, maybe less than $50,000, that would allow the hardware team to develop a quick fix in a matter of weeks to solve that problem instead of waiting for the next 12 or 18 month development cycle. So that's how these three tracks of development, if you will, adapted Agile differently. And that allowed this organization to move very quickly with their embedded system solution.